What's up, fight fans? It's Saturday. You know what that means. We have organized violence in an octagon starting at 11 o'clock, headlined by Umar Nurmagomedov and Corey the Sandman Sandhagen. It is going to be an absolute great card, but that is not what we're here to talk about. Dana White has announced UFC 308 today, as you can see in the background. Now, just 4 fights on the card, but these 4 fights are setting the tone. I think this card is going to be potentially the best card to end the year. If not, it already is. I mean, the main event, as you can see, Ilia Topuria taking on Max Holloway, not only for the featherweight belt, but to unify the featherweight and the BMF belt. We got 2 belts on the line this fight, but we'll get to that. We're going to start with the first fight on the card, try to scroll through this quick so y'all, we can go through it. We got Magomed Ankalaev and Alexander Rakic. This fight is going to be crazy. You have the number 2-6 ranked light heavyweight, the 2-6, geez. You have the number 2 ranked light heavyweight and the number 5 ranked light heavyweight. If I could drop the menu down to look at these guys, I would. Ankalaev on a 10-fight win streak. You got a draw in the middle of that, so I don't see how it's a streak, but whatever. Coming off a win to Johnny Walker. I mean, Johnny Walker's kind of a stepping stone in the light heavyweight division, if you will. Someone needs a win in the light heavyweight division. Let him fight Johnny Walker. That's what Dana says. Let him fight Johnny Walker. Before that, a draw to Jan Blachowicz. I thought that should have probably been the rematch we get here to see who's going to fight for the belt. I don't know what Jan's going to do at this point. I don't know. Maybe he's going to retire. I think he's older. I'm not 100% sure. But Rakic and Ankalaev is going to be a great fight. Other than that, he's beat, another stepping stone in the light heavyweight division. Anthony Smith. Oh, before that, he beat Santos, who is on a 1, 2. Oh, there's our stepping stone, Johnny Walker. We're not going to count that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5-fight losing streak. Yep. A 5-fight losing streak. I promise we're not counting that Johnny Walker win he has. I'm telling you, Dana White says, this light heavyweight needs a win. Give him Johnny Walker. Give him Anthony Smith. They can't beat them. They don't need to be in the UFC. But here we are. Ankalaev fighting. Let's go take a look at Rakic real quick. Coming off a loss, I believe, to Yuri Prochazka. Yuri knocked him out on April 13th, 2024. It was a solid fight. I mean, Rakic was landing some nice shots. Before that, a loss to Jan Blachowicz, beating Santos, beating Smith. I mean, they're kind of looking the same right now. Yuri just doesn't, or not Yuri, Ankalaev just doesn't have that win. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm never up this early. Ankalaev just does not have that win over Jiri. So that fight's going to be interesting. I think I'm probably not going to put names on it early. I'm probably going Ankalaev on that one. Next, we have the number 3 ranked middleweight taking on the number 11 ranked middleweight. We were supposed to get this fight earlier in the year, but Khamzat Chimaev got sick and then he wanted to scam all his fans in cryptocurrency. That's a whole different story. This fight could potentially be one of the best on the card. Both of these guys, absolute entertainers, absolute dominant fighters. Robert Whittaker. I mean, this is going to be a absolute test for Khamzat Chimaev. We saw him get tested the first time really against Gilbert Burns because Gilbert Burns was out there throwing, putting some pressure on him. Really not Gilbert Burns' game like that. But you look at Robert Whittaker, and his game is walking forward. His game is putting pressure on another fighter. Can Khamzat Chimaev get him down? Probably. Robert Whittaker. What's Robert Whittaker's wrestling like? I mean, it's not, I would say it's probably not as good as Gilbert Burns. I would say his wrestling and his ground game is not as good as Gilbert, but his walk down game is phenomenal. Let's take a look at Robert Whittaker's last few fights. We have a win over Aliskerov. He knocked him out, 4 minutes into the fight? Not even 4. The fight time was 1:48. I mean, he just knocked him out cold. Askarov took it on a short notice. It is what it is. I mean, beating Paulo Costa, he put the pressure on Paulo Costa. Losing to Dricus du Plessis, yawn. Knocked out by Dricus du Plessis, by the way. I mean, beating a Marvin Vettori. What is Marvin Vettori doing nowadays? You know what I mean? Where is Marvin Vettori at? I mean, I feel like he hasn't fought in forever. We have a loss to Israel Adesanya, beating Kevin Gastelum. I mean, I don't know. This one's probably one of the more 50-50 fights. I say that, but I honestly can see Khamzat Chimaev going in there and absolutely obliterating Robert Whittaker. I mean, coming off a win to Usman, beating Kevin Holland, beating Gilbert Burns, beating Ling Jingling. I mean, just out here dominating people. This is going to be a tough test for Khamzat's chin. I think Khamzat gets in there and throws with, you know, what this is really going to be a test for. And Khamzat's lucky it is another 3-round fight, because if this was 5 and he couldn't get Whittaker down, Whittaker's winning that fight. But I think Khamzat goes in there, probably takes him down, beats him in 2. That's my prediction on that. Next, we have Ciryl Gane and Alexander Volkov. Ciryl Gane ranked number 2, Alexander Volkov ranked number 3. Heavyweight bout. This is a rematch. I'd be lying if I told you I remember the first fight. I'd be absolutely lying. Ciryl Gane, 6 wins by knockout, 3 wins by submission, 3 first-round finishes, 12-2, coming off a loss to, not to John Jones, coming off a win against Spivak, then a loss to John Jones. Why that doesn't have a loss next to his name, I'm not 100% sure, but win against Tuivasa, loss against Francis Ngannou, win against Derek Lewis. I mean, really solid fighter, really, really good kickboxer. If he would, I've heard rumors that his coaches have come out and said he is a really great athletic guy. He just does not fully commit in the gym. If he did, he would be one of the best heavyweights to ever do it. And I can see that. I mean, the dude is absolutely massive. He's built like a tank. He's huge. He's just, I mean, God, he's huge. Anyways, 6 wins by knockout, fighting a knockout artist, going back to Alexander Volkov, coming off a knockout win over one of the best power punchers in the division right now, Pavlovich, knocking out or submitting Tuivasa, knocking out Romanov, knocking out Rosenstruck, losing to Tom Aspinall, decision to Tabor. I mean, he can take you the distance. He can submit you. He can knock out the best knockout artist in the game. He has the length. He has the reach. He's there. His power's there. It's all there. But you can't count out Ciryl Gane. I mean, if he went into camp and learned something new, learned something crazy, learned some takedowns, he gets in on you. He gets you down. That is a big dude to have on top of you. God, that's a big dude. All right, last but not least, we have Ilia Topuria and Max Holloway again, featherweight title to unify the featherweight and the BMF belt potentially. Ilia Topuria, your champion, 5 wins by knockout, 8 wins by submission, 9 first-round finishes, 15-0 in the UFC. Last win, knocking out Alexander Volkanovski. Win before that, unanimous decision to Josh Emmett, who, one of the best strikers in the division, one of the most powerful strikers in the division. I mean, he gave, what's his name? I mean, bro was convulsing on the ground after he knocked him out. Bryce Mitchell. I mean, he submitted, I think this is where it kind of gets crazy. He submitted Bryce Mitchell, one of the better jiu-jitsu guys in the division. A win over Herbert, knocking out another submission guy, a win over Jackson, whoever he is, Zalal, whoever he is. I can almost bet you these guys aren't in the UFC anymore. But I mean, the top half is insane. Win over Volkanovski, win over Emmett, win over Bryce Mitchell. I mean, the top half is looking good. But now he has a real test in Max Holloway, one of the best to ever do it. 26-7, 12 wins by knockout, 2 wins by submission, coming off a knockout against Justin Gaethje in a 5-round fight, beating Jung, knocking him out. Unanimous decision to Arnold Allen, not beating Volkanovski, but had 3 absolute wars with Volkanovski. One of them being, potential. Is it 2 wars or 3 wars? One of them being, potentially a robbery. Who knows? I'm not sure if he beat Yair because it's not on here. Absolutely, when I say destroyed Calvin Kattar, I mean, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. There we go. Again, losing to Max. I mean, this dude has been through it. He's fought the best of the best. He's seen the best of the best. He's beat the best of the best in the UFC. And that is our UFC 308 card. I'm not going to put any solid predictions on it until we actually get there. But let me know, what do y'all rate this card so far, scale of 1 to 10? I mean, we got some absolute bangers on here. A lot of these guys are going to go and win, and they're going to be fighting for a title next. I mean, potentially all of them. I mean, Ilia Topuria, Max Holloway, obviously our title fight. Winner of Cyril Gane and Volkov could probably fight, you know, I don't know, probably for the... I mean, heavyweight's so weird right now. They're not going to fight for a title, but they're going to fight for probably #1 contender after this. Robert Whittaker, Khamzat Chimaev, winner, potentially fighting for a title. Magomed Ankalaev, Alexander Rakic, winner, absolutely fighting for a title. I mean, you got a lot of guys on here that a lot of their career is coming full circle. They win right here. So let me know what you are rating UFC 308 and what your favorite fight on UFC 308 is down in the comments. Don't forget, like and follow.